Meet Carol. She's a retired 75-year-old nurse, and just a few short months ago, she was scheduled for a knee replacement surgery because of severe degenerative knee osteoarthritis. Fast forward to now, and the surgery has been canceled. Why? There's no pain anymore whatsoever. No, we didn't regrow her cartilage, but the pain is gone and she's restored full function, full strength, full range of motion. Now yeah, her knee wasn't great, that was the worst part, but the rest of her body wasn't exactly great either. Her lower back hurt, her shoulders hurt, her neck hurt, everything hurt. She couldn't raise her arm above 90 degrees. Now, all that is history, all of it. How does she do it? That's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. But first, let's talk about what Carol's life was like before.
I was taking pain pills, 6 to 8 a day. Being diabetic, it also affected my liver, so I got sluggish. I didn't want to do anything. And I just hurt constantly, knee, hip, back, shoulder, neck, because I was doing nothing but couch potatoing, and I signed up. I hoped that would help.
As I mentioned, Carol is a retired nurse, and she had what she would consider a good life in retirement. She likes to sew, walk her cat, and does a lot of charity work. Unfortunately, when you're in chronic pain everywhere, it takes away a lot of the pleasure in the activities you like to do. For instance, as soon as Carol would wake up, she'd take 2 pain pills automatically because she knew very soon pain would come, so she better get ahead of it. Because of the pain, her motion was severely limited, to the point where she needed help getting dressed in the morning. Because of the pain, movement is daunting. You just know that if you move a certain way, you're going to hurt. So what do? You don't move. Because of that, she spent a lot of her time on her couch. After the effect of the morning pain pills wore off, she was in pain again. So she would end up popping between 6 and 8 pain pills every day. She had also gone for imaging for an x-ray, and the x-ray showed, well, no surprise, that she had severe degenerative knee osteoarthritis, and she was scheduled for surgery. Now granted, the surgery would address her knee, but what about the rest of her body? Her shoulder, her lower back, her neck, those were still in pain. As if all her joint problems weren't enough, she also had severe muscle cramps that would last over 30 minutes. In her own words, those cramps made her wish she was dead. Besides pain pills, she tried a couple of different things to help her pain. One of the things was compression socks, but the problem was that they're difficult to put on, and furthermore, it was just symptomatic relief. It wasn't a long-term solution. Nothing wrong with symptomatic relief, and it should be done while you're working on the root cause, but it shouldn't be the long-term solution in and of itself. Another approach she's tried is exercise, but group fitness classes. But group fitness classes have 3 major problems. Whatever they asked the class to do in the session, she couldn't do because of the pain. 2, they weren't sensitive to her pain, and she was just told to push through it, and that made it worse. It wasn't personal to her, which makes sense. Group fitness classes are not meant to be personal. Eventually, just before she had the surgery and just before she gave up, she decided to give online personal training a shot. And she had a bunch of goals. The most obvious one is to decrease the knee pain. In addition to that, decrease her shoulder pain, back pain, neck pain, and improve her muscle strength as well as her endurance. Now, having been watching my videos for a while and having been receiving my newsletter for a while, she decided that she should work with us. Online personal training really appealed to her for a couple main reasons. One, there was no driving required, so that didn't take any extra time out of your day. Everything was in her own home with the equipment she already had. In her case, she had a very bare bones gym, just dumbbells and resistance bands. So eventually, we matched her up with her trainer, Konstantinos, and they got to work. Now, let's talk about Carol's exercise program that Konstantinos devised. One of the first exercises that Konstantinos had Carol doing was called wall sits. See, Carol was in a bit of a catch-22. On the one hand, she needed to strengthen her thighs in order to reduce her knee pain. On the other hand, knee strengthening exercises and quad strengthening exercises hurt her knees. How do we break through that catch-22? How do we strengthen her quads, her thighs, without hurting her knees? Static positions were the answer. So she would put her back against the wall, slide her feet forward a little bit, and hold the position as long as she could. At first, Carol couldn't go down against the wall very low, but as her quad strength improved, her knee pain reduced, and she was able to go from, from 30 degrees down to 40, 50, 60, eventually down to 90 degrees, where her thighs were parallel to the ground. That in and of itself caused a big reduction in her knee pain, but not complete. Now, of course, there's more to the knee than just the quads. Quads are one of the muscles, but there are others. So in addition to that, Carol was also doing knee bending and straightening. The straightening, of course, works the quads, but knee bending works the hamstrings, the muscles on the back of the thighs. We don't want strong quads and weak hamstrings because there is no balance around the knee. We want strong muscles everywhere around the knee. How does she bend her knee? Using a resistance band that she tied around her ankle. Eventually, doing it without weight became too easy for her to benefit from. So we needed a little extra weight, a little extra resistance for the hamstrings to cross the threshold of what it takes to get stronger. Once again, the goal was to challenge the muscles without aggravating the joints. The next exercise Konstantinos had her doing was band low rows. These muscles work the mid-back, and that carries over well to both the lower back as well as the shoulders, two areas that did hurt Carol beforehand. If you'll recall, Carol had a hard time raising her arm above 90 degrees. One of the reasons for that, besides directly the shoulder, was the mid-back muscles. They were weak, which didn't allow her shoulder blade to rotate well enough. One common mistake made in physiotherapy is thinking that the site of pain is the source of pain. Sometimes the shoulder hurts, but it's not the shoulder's fault. Sometimes the shoulder hurts and it's the neighboring regions that aren't functioning well. In Carol's case, that was surely the case because it was her mid-back muscles that didn't allow her shoulder to function well. In addition to that, another exercise we used for Carol's shoulder wasn't for her shoulder. It's called Y, literally like the letter Y from YMCA. And that works what a muscle called the lower trapezius. What it does is it allows the shoulder blade to tilt. And we had Carol do an exercise called external rotations. This is for one of the 4 rotator cuff muscles called the supraspinatus. And another highlight from Carol's program was planks. Planks work the muscles of the abdominals, and indirectly they help both the hips as well as the lower back, both areas that hurt Carol. Of course, these are just the highlights. These are the Cliff's Notes of her programs. There was a lot more to it, but these are just the sweet spots. Now, if you just read about the exercises, you'd miss the secret sauce of the exercise program, which is the progression model. I always say the single most important part of the exercise program is not the exercises themselves. Those are the 4th most important variable. The most important variable is the progression model. How do you make progress from one workout to the next workout? It's all about those little adjustments from one session to the next, one workout to the next, to see how you're progressing forward. Because without those progressions, yes, they're small in the short term from workout to workout, but add up a lot of small progressions across a lot of time and you have a big progression. And that's certainly what Carol experienced. An exercise program should be dynamic, intelligently, purposefully, and systematically changing the exercise variables workout by workout. It's not about having a different workout every time or haphazardly changing different exercise variables for no reason. Every change, every modification, every progression needs to have a good biomechanical, anatomical, physiological justification. Over the 5 months that Carol's been working with us so far, what has her progress been like? Tremendous. Her plank improved from 25 seconds up to 45 seconds and at progressively lower angles as her abdominals got stronger. At first, we didn't have her doing a flat plank, we were having her do it on an incline. The lower you go, the more difficult it is, and now she's doing it flat on the floor. Her wall squats improved from 30 to 50 seconds and again, at progressively lower and lower and lower heights to the point where now she's holding it at 90 degrees. Her Y shoulder exercise improved from 1 kilogram to 3 kilograms, a substantial improvement for her lower trapezius. And as a result of all that progress, how is her life different today? Substantially, dramatically.
Now I'm living. I'm enjoying getting up in the morning and not thinking, oh, I need 2 pain pills quick. I get up, take the cat for his walk, come back, have some breakfast. I sew a lot. I do a lot of charity sewing. So I come up and I start doing some cutting, sewing. Cat wants another walk. I enjoy my day. I don't suffer through it. I enjoy it.
For instance, the most obvious thing is that the knee replacement surgery that she had scheduled earlier was now canceled. Her knees no longer hurt. They regained full strength and full range of motion, even though they didn't regrow any cartilage. All of her other joint pain is also completely gone. Her lower back, her shoulder, her neck, everything is gone. Speaking of her shoulder, you know how before she couldn't raise her arms over 90 degrees? Now she can. One day she just reached up for her cupboards, forgetting that she hasn't been able to do this, and then after she got what she wanted to from the cupboard, she thought to herself, wait, did I just do that? I couldn't have done that for a few months. She's also regained a lot of her independence. She used to need help getting dressed by herself. Now she can get dressed herself without any help. She used to take 6 to 8 pain pills per day. Now she's down to less than 1. It might be 1 every 3rd day or every 4th day. And even that 1 pill is not for her joints. That's for the rare migraine. A huge improvement in her fitness level allows her to actually get down on the floor and up off the floor, pain-free. That is not something that many 75-year-olds can do. Now she enjoys her day instead of suffering through it. And she no longer gets those crazy cramps that last for 30 minutes and make her wish she wasn't alive anymore. All in all, she's made incredible progress, and that's resulted in a dramatic change to her quality of life. If you want help with your own joints, with your own fitness, we have a Google Sheet in the description below. If you click on that sheet, that'll take you up to an application form that will allow you to schedule a 10 to 15 minute Zoom chat with us. This is complimentary, no sales pitch, no pressure, just a short conversation to see what is your situation. Again, we help you get from where you are to where you want to be.